Hello everyone, welcome to our series of history lectures. Today we are going to discuss one of the important topic, Suez War of 1956. So this Suez War took place between Egypt on one side and the British, French and Israel. They were on the other side. And the main cause of this Suez War was nationalization of Suez Canal. The ruler of Egypt, Colonel Nasser, he nationalized Suez Canal on July 1956. So this nationalization of Suez Canal became one most important cause of Suez War of 1956. Before discussing this in detail, we go back to its history, that what was happening in that region and how the politics was taking place and who was to blame for the war. Actually, each one was blaming on the other for escalating war in that region. Arabs, they blamed Israelis for waging war against them, as well as they blamed Britain and France following the imperialist policies. And on the other hand, these powers, British, French and Israelis, they blamed Colonel Nasser. Colonel Nasser, who was the new ruler of Egypt, they blamed him for his aggressive policies. Nasser, he blamed in Arab unity and he openly attacked on Israeli ideology and their expansion. He was very much against of it and wanted to defeat Israel at any cost. So he believed in the Arab unity, as well as he was helping to prepare the Fedayins, self-sacrificer who can help them out to do some sabotage in the land of Israel. He was helping the other countries, like he helped Algeria from getting help from these Arabs and fighting against the occupation of Algeria from the French. As well as earlier, actually, this treaty was signed in 1936. It was known as Anglo-Egyptian Treaty in 1936. So this Anglo-Egyptian Treaty 1936 allowed the British to keep their troops there and to help to maintain that Suez Canal. And this treaty was about to expire in 1956. And Britain was forcing to Egypt to renew this treaty. But Colonel Nasser, he refused to renew the treaty and he wanted whole control of Suez Canal of Egypt. So this angered British, as well as he had signed an arms deal. He signed an arms deal with Czechoslovakia in September 1955 for the Russian fighters and tanks. So he signed this deal And this deal angered America because America did not want these Arab countries to have any deal with Russia, because this was the era of Cold War. So this intense Cold War was going on between USSR and USA, and that is why America was not in mood, was not ready at all to give any that any of their allies they take help from Soviet Russia, USSR. That is why this angered America, and over this deal America cancelled the grant of $46 million for the construction of Aswan Dam. This Aswan Dam was supposed to be made on Nile River, which will help them out for their agricultural development and generation of electricity. So it was a very big project for Egypt, and it will help them to recover their economy. So when America cancelled the grant of $46 million, which was supposed to be given for the construction of Aswan Dam, then it created the problem, and that is why finally Colonel Nasser announced that he is going to nationalize the Suez Canal, and the income which they are going to get from this nationalization of Suez Canal, that income will be used for the construction of dam. So they do not want to depend on America for the construction and for their help. They wanted to do it on their own. So Abdel Nasser, who was furious over America's decision of cancelling the grant of Aswan Dam, he ordered for the nationalizing the Suez Canal. Actually, Abdel Nasser, he was now supported by Soviet arms and money, and now he responded by nationalizing the Suez Canal on July 26 in 1956. He said that we are going to nationalize this Suez Canal. We are not going to give permission to British to continue to their troops over there, and he said that we will use this income to finance the construction of Aswan Dam. So this became now main bone of contention between British and the Egypt. And the Anthony Eden, who was the Prime Minister of Britain, he took lead in this matter now, and he sought the support of France as well as Israel. So finally the secret plan was hatched among them. They made a secret plan related to this issue, and they decided that Israel would invade this Sinai Peninsula. Israel would invade this region of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula region, and the British and French, they will occupy this region of Suez Canal. Okay, so this became the issue now. These three powers together, they decided to attack on Israel. They said that attack on Egypt. Israel, they will capture the Sinai Peninsula region, and British and French, they will come later on and they will occupy this Suez Canal region. So, as per the secret plan, War began with planned invasion of Egypt on 29th October 1956. So Israel, as per the plan, attacked on the Egypt's Sinai Peninsula region and captured whole part of it. Okay. So whole part of Sinai Peninsula was captured by Israel, and 2 days later British and French troops also joined. Although it was decided that they all three together will attack on Egypt, but these British and French troops were little late, so that is why they joined 2 days later. And immediately they landed at these two ports, Port Said and Port Fuad, and took control of whole of Suez Canal region. So within a week, this whole region was captured. By 7th of November, this whole region was captured by the British, French and the Israeli troops. Both French and Britain, they captured this Suez Canal region. So this whole attack was seen by the world community as the major aggression from Britain and France as well as Israel to crush Egypt and to topple Abdel Nasser. So it was condemned by all the countries of the world. India also condemned this attack. So because of this condemnation, now America also realized that if they will not help to sign the ceasefire, then the Arab world, all the Arab people, they will become angry, and it was the danger that these Arab now turn towards USSR. That is why America did not want to lose their allies, and America joined hand with USSR. So both of them now they demanded an immediate ceasefire. So finally, because of the world condemnation as well as America and USSR, they now said that immediate ceasefire. And finally, it forced Britain, France and Israel to withdraw from the Egypt and to hand over the captured region to Egypt. So finally the war came to an end after pact was signed in UN, and UN decided to send their troops in that region. Finally, what was the result of this war? So as far as this result is concerned, the main motive of all these European powers and as well as USA was to remove Abdel Nasser from Egypt. But this war failed to overthrow Nasser, but now he became a hero in the Arab world. He became a champion of Arab nationalism. So it made his popularity very much in the whole Arab region as well as in the whole Muslim world. Now after war, Egyptian, they blocked the canal, as well as the Arab reduced the oil supplies to these European countries. So that is why they were compelled for the rationing of the oil. After this war, British faced lot of humiliation because they were condemned by all important countries, all the whole of the world, and PM Anthony Adam had to resign from his post. Britain became weak now, and they were not in position to follow their immediate foreign policy in the world. As well as they lost an important ally in Iraq. The Prime Minister of Iraq, Noor Saeed, he was a pro-British, but he was condemned by the Arab people for his pro-British policies, and later on he was murdered. And the new regime was anti-British. So in that way, now finally, British, they lost their ally in Iraq also. Abdel Nasser, he continued to give support to Algeria, and he encouraged them for their independence, which they finally got in 1962. So France, which was having control over Algeria, finally was compelled to give them independence. Another result was that although Israel was compelled to give back all the captured territories to Egypt, but Israel has inflicted heavy loss to Egypt in the form of man, in the form of resources, and it will take long time for Egypt to overcome this problem. So they inflicted heavy loss on them, as well as Israel got some relax from the Fedayeen raids. Actually, Fedayeen raids were carried out by some of the nationalists in Egypt, in Israel, and they were carrying out such blasts time to time. But after this war, these Fedayeen raids, Fedayeen attacks were stopped for time being. So in that way, this Suez War brought some of the changes in that region and change in the world politics also. That's all for now. We will continue with other topics related to Arab-Israel conflict in next video. Thanks for watching. Hope you might have enjoyed. Share, like, subscribe Dr. SHARIQ'S History and Sociology Lecture Series. Thank you very much.